So today we're going to be learning about order of operations, which describes the order in which to solve those long, spread out equations that actually usually go viral on the internet because people don't know how to solve or what order to solve them in. So today we're going to be breaking that down. The first step to know when solving an order of operations equation is that you need to, the best way to understand it is by using words like Pemdas to help understand the order and steps you should first take and then last take to solve the equation. So PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And you solve the equation in that order. So you solve with operations in parentheses, and then you add the exponent onto a number, and then you do multiplication, division, and so on. Common confusion with order of operations equations: if you have an equation that has multiple forms of an operation, so like if there's two multiplications outside of parentheses, or there's like two subtractions outside of parentheses, and they don't really know which one should I do first, you always go from left to right. And that is a key thing that often gets people to mess up order of operations expressions. Also, if you have multiple numbers within a parentheses, you also solve those in order of PEMDAS, but if it's just like one operation, you solve the innermost parentheses first, and then you do the next innermost parentheses, and so on. So yeah, let's solve a few equations together. So we're going to start by solving one equation together, just starting with a simple one, just to kind of get the whole PEMDAS concept across. So, it's kind of hard to see, but we're going to start with the innermost parentheses, the P in PEMDAS. Remember, we're going left to right in the spelling of PEMDAS. 12 minus 7, that is 5. So we're going to rewrite this. And it's really important, especially when you're first trying to understand order of operations, to write things step by step. So now we have 3 squared plus 5 times 5. So next we would do exponent. Even though that isn't a parentheses, that can also be rewritten as just 5x5 or 5 times 5. So don't mistake that. So 3 squared is 9. So we can rewrite this as 9 plus 5 times 5. So we're at our second to last step here. So next we're going to go by PEMDAS, which is multiplication with the next step with addition and subtraction. So we write this as 9 plus 25, and 9 plus 25, just some simple addition here. 9 plus 25, that equals 34. And that would be the answer to this problem. Okay, so we're going to solve our next equation. So this is a common mistake. I made the equation like this purposefully because this is a common mistake that people make when they're solving order of operations. So we have 2 sets of parentheses on this equation. So we have our innermost parentheses and we have our outermost parentheses. We also have 2 different operations within the innermost parentheses, which need to be done in a specific order in specific parentheses in order to get this equation correct. So first, we're going to locate our innermost parentheses, which is the 4 cubed plus 8. And remember, if we have multiple operations within parentheses, we do them in PEMDAS order. So we would simplify the exponent first. So we would start by writing this as 16 divided by 4 times 2 times 4 cubed, which is 64, plus 8. Okay, now we still have that innermost parentheses, so we still need to solve the innermost parentheses operation. Even though it is addition, we would add 64 and 8, which is 72. Doing that within that's parentheses, writing our 2, and now we have 16 divided by 4 times 2 times 72. So since we have another set of parentheses, we would do the operations within the parentheses, which is 72 times 2, which was 144. So now we have 16 divided by 4 times 144. And a lot of people think that since, PEMDAS, M comes first, right? That's why some people used to use gems, because addition and subtraction and multiplication and division can be performed inversely. So, like, we don't need to perform multiplication first, we can do the division first. A good way to remember that is like subtracting is like adding a negative number. So, you know, think of it like that. So we're going to do the division first, left to right, like I said earlier. So 16 divided by 4, that's 4. And then, so we'll be left with 4 times 144. This is our final operation, and 4 times 144 is 576. And that is our final answer. Okay, so we have one final equation left to solve. So remember Pemdas, we're going to start with our innermost parentheses, which is this 9 squared divided by 3. Remember, we do have the innermost parentheses in the Pemdas order, which would mean the first thing we would do would be to simplify the exponent. 9 squared is 81, so we would rewrite this as 6 times 3 minus 2 times 81 divided by 3. So remember, keeping with our innermost parentheses, 81 divided by 3, that's 27. So we would rewrite this as 6 times 3 minus 2 times 27. And remember, we're going to go in Pemdas order now that we've simplified our parentheses. So this can also be rewritten as like 2 times 27, just like that. But we're going to keep this in Pemdas order. 6 times 3, that's 6, 12, 18. So 18 minus 2 times 27. 2 times 27, that's 54. But since there is a negative sign, it's negative 54. So our last step is 18 minus 54, or 18 plus negative 54, whichever you choose. This is the last step in our equation, and yes, the answer is negative. The answer is negative 36. And that is how you solve the last equation. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions about order operations or just questions for me in general, make sure you comment those down below and I will try to answer them if possible. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.